it's time to talk about lipids. We also call lipids fats, and fats get a bad rap. We need them. They're super important because they're our secondary source of energy. We store them, and when we're out of sugars, our body will break those stored fats down into energy so that we can cellularly respire. But we are also familiar with fats because they help make up our cell membranes. We're familiar with that when we went through exploring all the different organelles that make up the cell. We also know that there are things that can dissolve in fats. Earlier this year, we talked about solubility, and vitamins D, A, K, and E are fat soluble vitamins. So if we didn't have enough fat in our diet, we wouldn't have these vitamins. Fats help keep us warm. They provide us with protection. They keep us buoyant in water. And without fats, our body wouldn't be able to make hormones. So fats are pretty important. Well, when we think about where we get fat, fats can be from some highly processed foods. And that's when we really need to think about unhealthy fats. And there are differences between healthy fats and unhealthy fats. Healthy fats tend to be liquid at room temperature, and they come from plants. They boost our high density lipoproteins or good cholesterol in our daily diet. Unhealthy fats are associated with cholesterol, and there's low density lipoproteins. That's our bad cholesterol. We find those things in animal products like butter and lard. When we think about balancing fats, we want lots of good plant-based fats, but not so many animal-based fats or even processed fats. Something like Crisco or fats that might be called hydrogenated, those are associated with being processed. Now, when we think about fats that are healthy, they are unsaturated fats. Now, up here, this is a chemical portion of a fat broken down into its molecular structure. And we see that unsaturated or healthy fats that are liquid at room temperature have multiple carbon-carbon bonds in their structure. Saturated fats have single carbon bonds. Think about these as like being a saturated fatty sponge that are holding as many hydrogens as possible in the molecule. Now, if we wanted to think about how people make unhealthy fats, because they're artificial, it's actually a fake fat. Let's take a look. Did you recognize some of those foods that contain trans fats or those fake fats? Things that might be in the foods that you eat, things like fried foods, cookies that are bought from the store, things that are in highly processed or deep fried foods. Those are the saturated fats. Trans fats are saturated, and we want to stay away from those as much as we possibly can. Now, we talked about fats and carbs as both being great sources of energy, but let's take a look at their molecular structure. This is a simple sugar. This is one sugar molecule, fructose, it's fruit sugar. This is a fat molecule. Compare the size. It is huge. And that's why when we think about per gram, the calories we have 4 calories per gram from a gram of sugar, we have 4 calories per gram when it comes to sugars, but 9 calories per gram when it comes to fats. So when we think about fats in our diet, we should have considerably fewer fats in our diet. About 30% of our calories should come from fats. Remember that we said that 50% of our calories should come from carbs? That leaves about 20% of our calories coming from proteins. Fats get a bad rap. They're important in your diet for many reasons. Up to this point, we've talked about macronutrients, nutrients that we need in large amounts. But there are also micronutrients, nutrients we need in small amounts. And minerals are one of those nutrients. No, we're not talking about that kind of mineral. We're talking about this kind of mineral. We tend to think about these as being on the periodic table of elements. But minerals are essential inorganic nutrients that are important, like I said, in small quantities. What does inorganic mean? Well, organic means that it contains carbon, and minerals don't contain carbon. They are an element all unto themselves. Minerals have our job both structurally and functionally in our body. When we think about structural minerals, think about calcium. Calciums are important for your bone. When we think about minerals, we can think about functional minerals like iron. Iron's important in hemoglobin. Hemoglobin helps us carry oxygen through our body. When we think about magnesium, magnesium is also important in bone health. It's important for heart health, helps control your blood pressure, and helps us use vitamin D. We're going to talk about vitamins next. When you take a look over to the right and we look at zinc, zinc is a mineral that you take when you need to boost your immune system. Sodium, calcium, potassium, those are important in muscle and nerve control. Something like fluorine is important in tooth health. So when we think about these different nutrients, these minerals, we can get them from a variety of sources. Now, there are so many different minerals that we need from so many different sources. What I'd love for you to be familiar with is the ones that mean something to you. Feel free to go on to the supplementary resources on your skeletal outline and explore those minerals and where we can get them and what jobs they have in your body. Then the other micronutrient are vitamins. And vitamins are organic molecules. Remember, that means they contain carbon and they're important in your diet in small quantities. Vitamins play both a structural and functional role in your body. Now, when we think about vitamins, vitamins really are categorized into two groups. Those that are fat soluble, that are found in fats, and those that are water soluble, that we can find in things that have water in them. Just like we mentioned, fat soluble vitamins are vitamins D, A, K, and E. Think about date. Those are your fat soluble vitamins. Vitamin A in carrots are going to help your vision. Vitamin D is important for skin and heart health. Vitamin D is something that you can make, your body's able to make when you go out in the sunlight. Vitamin E is going to be important with reproductive and circulatory health, and it helps your body process vitamin K. Vitamin K is actually processed in your digestive system and has a role in clotting blood, in maintaining healthy muscles and bones. Our water-soluble vitamins are vitamin C and our B complex. Now, when you think about vitamin B, there's B6, B12, B8, there's all kinds of vitamin B. So we call those vitamin B complexes. Those are important for your blood, for your nervous system, energy production, and helping your brain think. Vitamin C, I know you're familiar with because people talk about vitamin C being important for your immune system. But it also helps with your skin and your muscles. It helps your body use iron. It helps your bones be strong and helps your body heal. These are your micronutrients. Thanks for exploring with me the 6 key nutrients to life. We care for people very much. Use this kind of silly mnemonic device to help you remember those 6 key nutrients. As you look at the graphics on the right, can you identify which nutrients are in which foods? Here's a hint. A lot of foods contain multiple nutrients. Have any questions ready the next time we meet during a touchstone lesson. Thanks so much.